Hi, hello, salam, welcome back to another video. So before I start on this video, I want to give you all an update. If you have been following my journey, then you know from a previous video I had to do a COVID-19 test, and I can say Alhumdulillah that came back negative. I'm all in the clear, guys. Let's get straight into today's video. Today's video is gonna be a little strange, and I'm actually shooting and uploading this video on a day which I will never forget, which has two significant importance in my life. Number one, and the most important, today is my sister's birthday. Before I start the video, happy birthday, sis. Have a fantastic day, and may the year ahead be a blissful one. So all the people following me on this journey, make sure you wish my sister happy birthday in the comment section below and give this video a thumbs up. Now, the second reason why today's day is so important to me, or should I say, actually no, I was gonna say a day I can forget about, but no, because everything has barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That day was supposed to happen the way it did happen, and I'm grateful for how it's turned out. So on the 8th of January 2010, just over a decade ago, I was pretty much laid out flat. Could have possibly been the last day of my life. I still remember on that cold, it was snowing, there was ice on the road, lying on the floor, and the only thing that was running through my head was, Ya Allah, please don't make this my last day on earth. Covered in blood, not knowing what to do. It was a day that I will never forget in my life. So what happened on the day, you might be asking yourself, without going into too much of the details. Now, before I start talking about what happened on the day, if you guys are squeamish, you can't see injuries or blood or cuts and stuff, then please do fast forward. But if you are one of those that don't want to even hear it, then before you go, please at least hit the like button and make sure you subscribe. So me and a couple of my friends were walking out the estate, going to a mate's house. We were attacked. Fortunately, both my friends managed to get away unscathed, unharmed. Alhamdulillah to that. For me, unfortunately, there was nowhere else that I could run. The first thing I heard was my friend saying, Raz, watch out. As you would normally do, you just look back and say, what's going on? As soon as I looked back, there was a guy right in front of my face, coming up to me with a swinging motion. So a natural reaction from anybody will be to cover yourself or defend yourself. So I put my arms up, my left arm up. I was sliced across my arm first. Then I had 3-4 boys, they just jumping, and it was just hacking and swinging. So at first I tried to defend myself by punching back. In doing so, I realized quickly that I'm outnumbered and I can't really do much on my own. So I kind of went into a defensive stance, because I can hear them say, go for his face. And that's the one thing I didn't want anyone to do, is to hit me on the face. So I kind of crouched into my arms like that, and in doing so, that obviously was like an open invitation. Crazy. And I was just like thinking, when is this gonna end? If any of you guys have played football, then you would have experienced this pain. It's like a kick on your shins, accidental obviously, but it does really hurt. That's how it felt at first, but I was still standing, and then straight away after that I kind of dropped. So when I was dropping on the floor, I didn't feel any pain at that moment. The adrenaline was kicking in, I was in defensive mode. So when I was on the floor, the only thing that was going through my head at that point was get up, just get up. However you try and get up, just try and get yourself up, because I knew the more longer I stay on that floor, the more damage they will do. So I remember trying to grab guys and trying to pull myself up, but I just couldn't. Every time I was doing that, I was dropping, and obviously them hacking at me wasn't helping. At that very moment where I thought, that's it, they've got the opportunity to do whatever they want to do, one of my neighbors, he actually drove out of that entrance of their estate and realized that that's me on the floor. So he came out of the car and shouted, and in shouting, those boys ran off. At that very moment, I did not know what my state was. All I knew is just, I need to get off the floor. During this whole incident, one of my mates that was with me gone back into their estate, so I can hear him screaming and shouting, asking for help. Where we got attacked was obviously on the pavement. By the time I ended up on the floor, it was in the middle of the road, and that's when my friend tried to help me off the road, because at that time he didn't even realize what the damages were. So I remember him trying to pick me up, and I said to him, I can't walk. But mind you, I still didn't know what the damage was. At the same time, he said to me, Raz, lie down, you're bleeding quite heavily. And he lied me down on the same spot, took off his jumper, pushed it down on my side, and I remember crouching like a baby. And all these programs of A&E that I used to watch when I was younger came into my head was, don't panic, stay calm. And straight after that, I started praying and saying, Allah, please don't take me this way. I'm not ready for this. Please do not take me in a situation like this. And we used to live on a second floor flat, so all the commotion people have come out now, and my mum just instantly knew that's my son lying on the floor, and I can hear her scream and cry. I can hear my sister screaming and crying. Next thing I can hear is my brother running up saying, what's happened, what's happened? I can hear my dad so confused. So by that time paramedics got there, the police were around me, so they were cutting me all up. But I remember taking out my phone and my wallet and giving it to my dad's hand because I didn't want it to go missing. And they took me in the back of the ambulance and they were giving me, I think it was oxygen or morphine, wherever it was, for the pain. And I remember looking down. So basically I'm lying and I'm looking up, like towards the back of the door. I knew at that point that I couldn't straighten my knee. But the funny thing was, there was no pain. I could feel no pain on that knee. So I was saying I can't straighten my leg. Cover your ears if you don't want to hear this next part. When I went to look, my knee was busted open. That's my left knee. It was busted open. If I was to describe it to you guys, then it was literally looking at a jack of potatoes. Literally. And I'm not exaggerating. That's the first thing that came to my head, was jack of potato. I looked at it as I passed out. I don't remember anything else afterwards. The next part I remember was waiting in recess to go into the theatre, and I had all the family members come to see me, all my friends, and they came rushing to the hospital and they were giving me encouraging words, so thank you for that, guys. So while I was waiting to go into the theatres, the energy level, you can imagine the amount of blood I've lost. At that time, the only damage I knew was my knee, so I knew I lost a lot of blood at that time and I was so tired. I remember my mom coming in crying. I had my eyes closed. I remember us pointing to the sky and saying, don't cry, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after me. And that was the last of it. I don't remember going to the theatre at all. I remember waking up in the ward, but I was not in the main ward. When I woke up, the nurse came and he came to me and he said, would you like something to eat? Obviously, you're coming around. I don't know if anyone's had any sort of operations or if they've ever had anesthetic before and they've awoken, how that feeling is. You really don't want to talk. You really don't want to eat anything. You just want to kind of get your bearings first. And I was in that state. What is going on? Like, how much damage do I have? I've got all these questions bubbling around my head. Why am I in this like secluded, like, seems like I'm still in resus, like the emergency part. At that point in pain, I can't even move. And trust me, that's when I started feeling the pain. I couldn't move at all. Gave me water. He said, take it easy. You might feel a bit faint. So within a couple of hours, I kind of came to my senses, kind of realized where I am. I hate hospital as it is. Me and my family have got big histories with hospital. So you can imagine, I hated the whole experience. Now, I hated the experience because I didn't like the hospital. I didn't hate the experience because of the nurse or the doctors. They were amazing. Thank you, NHS staff at the Royal London Hospital. Old Royal London Hospital, you were amazing. I had 2 casts on both of my legs and I couldn't work out why I have 2 casts. Then I've got a long bandage on my left arm. I can feel bandages wrapped around my body. How much damage have I actually taken? How much damage did these guys do? 2-3 days went past when they tried to help me up on my feet, and I found it the most difficult thing to do. I needed help from the nurses to lift me off the bed to try and stand. I just couldn't do it. I stood up for maybe 10 seconds, less than that, and I feel faint. I lied back down. We tried again, so I took a couple of steps with the crutches and I said, that's enough for me today. And the doctor came at that time. He's saying, we've had to stitch your left arm because you've got a knife wound there. We've had to stitch your back because you've got a knife wound there in 3 different places. We've had to stitch your right shin because there's a gash there. We've had to stitch your right side of your stomach all the way to your back. And the worst one is your left patella tendon was ruptured. So we've had to operate on that to stitch it all back together. And when he said that, I was like, okay. But then when he explained what that meant, when he said to me that you're going to have to learn to walk again slowly, you're going to be in this cast for the next 6 months. And that time it hit me then that, hold on a second, I can't walk. What do you mean I can't walk? Like, it's going to take me 6 months and then a further 3-4 months to rehab. But all in all, I'm looking at about a year to try and get my strength back onto the knee. I'm not going to be able to walk. And that really hit me. And I was like, wow. So the time eventually came to go home. I still remember my mum telling me of saying, gonna get onto the wheelchair and we'll take you downstairs. And I remember arguing with her and saying, no mum, I came in a stretcher. I'm not getting out of this hospital in a wheelchair. I'm walking out. And call it stubborn, but in my head, mentally, I wanted to be strong. If you know how Asian mums are, then you would know that the amount of telling off I was getting from the ward to the entrance, my days, she won't stop. And bless her, she was obviously wishing for the best for her son. It was hard and difficult to make her understand that her son needed to do this. But yeah, eventually got into my mate's car and came home. Painful, stressful, embarrassing recovery started from then. So I'm gonna try and speed this part up. I think this video is getting a bit too long. Yeah, so it actually took 6 months before I originally had the cast removed, and then they stuck me into a sling. And then during my appointments every month, I was getting that adjusted. After that, they would have taken it off, working on the muscle. Up until October, everything was going fine. I was started doing my rehab, and then I had another accident. trying to get into the car, went to pull the handle, hand slipped, fell back onto my left knee and the tendon snapped again. I came home and I remember sitting down, just looking at my knee, and it swelled up like a melon, and I just knew. Went to the hospital the following day. The guy that was looking at it, he goes, "Oh, we can't take an x-ray of this because there's internal bleeding and we got to wait until the internal bleeding stops." I remember saying to him, "This is nothing to do with the bone, it's my tendon. You need to do a scan." He said, no, let the swelling go down in a couple of days and then come back again." So I went into the fracture clinic on a Tuesday. One of the surgeons from the team walked in. She looked at it and she goes, "Oh my God, what's happened?" So I explained what happened over the weekend. First, she went to come with me. She took me into the A&E and said, "Which one was it?" I remember who it was, but he wasn't there at that time. As I said, "He's not here." She was fuming. So she sent me straight up to get my scan done. So one of the trainee docs scanning it, he then had to go and call the main doctor to come and look at it. But while I'm looking at the scan, I can tell it's ripped. It's like, how do I explain it? The tendon is like a rubber band. It stretches. If you've ever seen a ripped rubber band in the middle, you see the cracks in there. It's basically like that. So I can tell by the image that it's ripped. Doctor came in, he's looking at it. He put his hand in his mouth and I just knew what the answer was. So I just said to him, "I need to go in for an operation, right?" He goes, "Unfortunately, yes." So he got confirmed, second operation is needed. So during November, I had to go in again for a second major operation. But this time they put a solid cast on saying you're not allowed to move it or do anything with it. So I was on that for about 3 months. Then they took that off. After the second rip, I realized that tendon is much more weaker than it would have been if it healed the first time round. And because I was putting pressure on it and because I was walking on it, there was complications with my kneecap. Then I had to do another 2 more surgeries. The most recent one was in December in 2019. And in that operation, I was told 2 things I need to do. 1, don't play football ever again. Second is you need to try and lose weight because the more pressure you're putting on that knee, the more it's going to damage. Eventually, if you don't look after your health, we're going to have to replace the knee altogether. And trust me, you don't want to replace your knee at this age. So you can imagine kind of shockwave, and that's why I started to lose the weight back in January. And I was doing really well. If you've been following on the journey, then I went to Bangladesh, came back, and then we've had the whole lockdown situation, and then the weight's pulled back on again. That's why I want to try and lose the weight again. So we'll see how it goes. I've gone through a lot with this knee since that incident, and probably will do for the rest of my life. But Alhamdulillah, I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still able to walk. So yeah, guys, I thought I'd share the incident with you guys. I thought with this video to understand where I am currently. Since 2010, I've been living with this same pain. Pain has become so immune to me now, and I get it every morning that I wake up, but my mind's learnt how to adapt to it, and I know that pain will never go away. I'm thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving me another opportunity. Without the barakah of Allah, I would have not been here talking to you guys right now. Secondly, I want to thank everyone that helped me, supported me, whether it be mentally, physically, starting off with my family, my mum and dad, my brothers and sisters who were there throughout. Thank you so much. My very close friends that took it upon themselves to come and visit me every weekend and gave me that time because they knew that this guy's going to be stuck at home for the next 6-7 months. That's the least that we can do, but trust me, that least means a lot to me because we've had so much fun. You guys have made me smile. You guys made me forget about what I was going through at that stage. So thank you, boys. Appreciate it. Thank you to everyone that made dua for me. Special thank you to my mate that was with me on that night, and he was trying his level best, bless him, to try and get help. Thank you for being there that time, bro. And I hope my new family that's joined the journey make dua for me, wish me the best of luck, that I can manage to lose this weight. I'm trying to do and maintain it so it doesn't affect my knee in the long run. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this wasn't too long and too boring for you guys. Show your support by giving this video thumbs up. To see more, consider joining the journey. Subscribe button. Till next time, guys, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.